Welcome back to Pet Sitter Confessional, an open and honest discussion about life as a pet sitter. Today, we're brought to you by our friends at Time to Pet and the Peaceful Pet Music, Calm Music for Pets YouTube channel. How do we build a business that is founded in joy and rooted in service, balance, and integrity? Today, we're really excited to have Sam Erbaugh, owner of Paw Beach Pet Care, on the show to talk about how we hire from the heart, nurture client relationships. Sam shares her honest insights on team culture, personal growth, and staying true to our mission. Let's get started.
Well, thank you so much, Colin. I appreciate it. I'm so happy to be here as well. I do own Paw Beach Pet Care. I'm here in Palm Beach County, Florida, South Florida, a little bit above Miami, and had the business for about 8 years and started on my own, and then it's grown and grown. So every day I'm learning new things and challenges, but lots of happiness.
You said you started, 7, 8 years ago in the business? What was Sam doing before then? What was life like before Paw Beach?
Well, it was a little bit of everything for a moment. I had recently changed my life, moved to Florida, brand new life after leaving my ex-husband. Didn't know what I wanted to do. I used to be an interior designer. So I kind of started that down here. I had lived all over the United States with my ex-husband, but I knew once I got a chance, I wanted Florida. So I did interior design for a while, and I realized it's not really fulfilling me anymore because I live in South Florida and I moved here to be outside. And I looked on some local pages and I started working for a woman in the pet care business. And I realized, hello, this is my second love of life in my little chapter of the season of my timing in my life. And it's just was the greatest decision I ever made down here.
So it sounded like it really helped kind of shape around the life that you were wanting to lead then and fit in with the style and what you were wanting to do.
Yes, it was outdoors. It was being around animals, especially dogs. It was just enjoying, the outdoor world, the reason why I came down, and helping other people at the same time. So it was just kind of a new way of living. It didn't matter about finances at the time. Everything would work out. I just wanted to be happy. And this was the start of my happiness journey.
I think that that's something that motivates a lot of us to get started in running a business is we're looking for something that we're missing. We're looking for the thing or trying to find a new balance, or we're trying to get out of something that we were doing previously that we knew or realized, oh, this isn't what I want to do. Like for me, I was working with the Department of Conservation and quickly realized that, oh, this lifestyle isn't what we want, isn't what is going to fit for me and my family. And we want to do something different. And launched into doing this. And for you, you're going, okay, well, it ticks off being outside. I get to be with pets. I get to help people. It sounded like it was kind of a no-brainer to go to go into it.
Yeah, I mean, it was all happenstance too. I just didn't know what I was doing with the next chapter of my life. And I was kind of at a standstill, kind of, what do I do? And then I saw this and maybe it was a God wink or something. And, it started out so small and fun, and then it just grew and grew. And then I became professional and certifications and licenses and all this kind of stuff. And I really knew this was my passion to really work on and build trust and continue to help others in every moment of the day. That I think is the key to my happiness, is just helping others in this world. And I kind of just thrive on the happiness and security and trust that embodies my company.
That aspect of helping people, it is a very underappreciated aspect of what we get to do. We get to be with pets. We get to provide excellent pet care, but there's a person at the end of this. And what I have found, and what I hear from you too, Sam, is like that's what we connect with. Like there is a person that I am helping. I'm helping them live their life. I'm helping them have peace of mind. I'm helping them go see their grandma. I'm helping them, go out on that date or whatever that is. And that is just this massive aspect that we too often forget about what we do.
Yes. Yes. It is, unfortunately, some people out there in this world take others for granted, and customer service has unfortunately gone by the wayside. So when you are served well in life, whether it's at a restaurant or a supermarket, you kind of realize that that's a wonderful thing, and you have gratitude for that. So we're trying to bring back customer service, like back in the year 2025, and like we thrive on that. Because it is a great thing to do, not just to help someone, but do it so well. And it's a great, I don't know what I'm saying.
Oh, well, but you said that, you linked that, and I've never heard it put that way before, Sam, of people take others for granted. And so it impacts the customer service. I've never really thought about it of like, yeah, when my customer service is lacking, it's an indication that I'm kind of taking the person on the other end of the line for granted of like, yeah, of course you're here. Okay, whatever. Like, okay, let's move on. And really going, no, you're a person who has value and is valuable. And this is important. And I need to focus on this. So when you say you're bringing back customer service and you're making it cool again, what does that look like for you and Paw Beach?
We show up, we dress up, we put on that great attitude that this is the only dog in the world we're going to see today, that you are our only client of the day. That's how we want our clients to be treated. Just because you have a 20-minute walk doesn't mean we aren't going to be there for 45 minutes chatting with you or something like that. Like I've grown a team to where, yes, they make really good money, but at the same point, they enjoy so much what they do, and they enjoy all the clients as well. So it's a great personal experience as well. It's not that, I have to walk a dog at 8:00 in the morning and at 5 p.m. and at 3 p.m. and at 1:30 p.m. I get to see Mrs. H today. I get to see, Bear the dog today. This is so cool. I wonder how this client's doing, things like that. I get to, and they see the impact that we are giving, and their attitude changes. Like they might have a rough day. Let's say the client's home and we're walking the dog. They look forward to seeing us take care of Bear the dog, and coming back and having a report and a rapport with each other. It's just wonderful to see. It's no longer a job. It's a lifestyle that we are leading. Just a true, just genuine relationship lifestyle. Everything is just nurtured and taking full course of just responsibility, as well as just performance and just caring about another human being. And we just think that's lacking these days. Just the caring of normal, everyday human nature. It's lost cause. People don't say hi to each other anymore on the street. We say hi to everybody. So, it's just little things like that. We try to just, hi.
Yep.
Hi. Yep. And it's not to grow my business. It's just to promote. Like, you're a happier person inside every day if you look forward to what you're doing every moment of the day. And come to me if you're not.
How do you make that culture though? Because if people view it like, it's just a job, or I have to show up, it's a drudgery. What's the magic sauce, Sam, of making that culture of wanting to spread that joy and communicating to people the importance of what you do and making it a get to versus a have to?
I guess upon hiring, in the hiring process, they go through kind of mirroring me and following me and things like that, shadowing me, and they see the care that I'm providing, and I don't do a substandard care. So I set the bar pretty high, but nothing's unachievable. I make it come like it's so natural and at ease that, let's say they'll meet me at their first client. It's 8 a.m. I'm like, you're going to meet me at this house, blah, blah, blah. So I get out of the car, they get out of the car, and I'm like, okay, this dog is pretty rocking. You're going to love this dog. These clients are XYZ. Of course, they've already been told on their app who they are, how they are. There's all different notes, but it's like, power up. Let's walk to the front door. Nah, 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 nah. So it's all just kind of educating and just kind of mimicking and just let's do this in life. This is fun. This is not a pain. And they kind of see how I report on the app, and it's a story. We tell a story. Like, we literally are storytellers, and we add in little jokes and have fun with it. And they see how lighthearted a job can be, but yet we're really doing someone a service at the same time. So everybody in tune is giving away a little piece of happiness, and then it just takes on from there. Mm-hmm. So the people that work under me truly enjoy and have gratitude for this job. I've been fortunate, but I think I set precedent the day they start with me. Let's do this. Woo-hoo!
Man, that first day is a lot rides on that. You're right. Every time that we show up to do training with a new employee, right? Like, I have to make sure that, like, am I in a good spot, right? Because if I show up and I'm like, well, welcome. Okay. Well, anyway, this is Baxter. Okay, let's go. Come on. Like, that sets the tone of, like, this is the expectation of you show up grumbly. You show up. Not that we don't have bad days, not that we can't be frustrated or angry at times, but what does this pet deserve? And I love how you phrase that of, we make our clients, our pets, feel like they're the only one in the world. And that's very special. And it's really hard because it's so easy to let the sleepiness creep in, to let the red light creep in, to let the frustration about the off-leash dog that just came at us, creep in. All of these little things are just trying to hew away at the happiness we're trying to give away. And we have to be the bulwark against that and say, no, here's what this is. And really going, like, this allows us to, reminding us why we're there, right? At the end of the day, like, this is here, and helping our teams connect with that it's just so critical.
It is. I mean, these people have chosen my company and then entrusted us and entrusted me to let another person other than me come into their house and take over. So to me, there's a lot of responsibility there. So each time I have a new person, a new teammate, a new pet advocate, I have to ensure that this is a true representation of me and Paw Beach. Otherwise, I truly am failing at what I'm doing and taking on that responsibility of that client. So I have to have lots of little mini me's with their own little special sauce too. They have their own flair. They don't have to be little me's truly. Like, everybody's unique, but they find their little way. It takes a while, but they find it. I haven't had anybody that really hasn't in a couple of years. So I've been very fortunate.
That was hard for Megan and I in the beginning when we brought on team members. We did think, no, you have to be mini me's. You have to do exactly as we do. And any variance, we were like, no, that's not the way. That's not the way. No, come back over here. And when we were able to let go and basically give guidelines, right? Like, this is what we expect. And here is the gray areas in between where you can have your personality. Man, that unlocked so much for both the team and the clients. They got to see a variety of reports and see how people express themselves and how they interact with people. And our team felt freedom to have agency and control over something. Like, we do have standards for how we send reports, obviously, but it wasn't like, no, every word must blah, blah, blah. They went, I can express myself in this way. And yeah, we have some team members, they tell lots of jokes, or they tell different stories. Other people are a little more fact-based. Other people, it adds such a variety and beauty to what we do throughout the day that it really becomes invaluable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the one thing I learned through this all, through different employees, was there were times I was micromanaging to have little mini me's. And then it took a little bit to be like, Is the client complaining? No. That is their little flair. Let them do this. And that sitter's going to do that. And blah, blah, blah. Is the dog taken care of? Are they still meeting all their contract requirements? Yes. Let them do their job. Let them have fun. That's where it comes down to letting go. And that is a really hard thing to do, but it takes time. There's certain days I still struggle with it. Believe me. I'm like, but at the end of the day, everything's okay.
Yeah.
It depends on where my headspace is too, where that micromanaging comes back. Like, no, they're fine.
Have you heard of Time to Pet? Doug from Bad to the Bone Pet Care has this to say.
Time to Pet has made managing my team and clients so much easier. Our clients love the easy-to-use app and scheduling features, and our sitters love being able to have all of their information organized and easily accessible. My favorite feature is the instant messaging. By keeping conversations on Time to Pet, we are able to monitor our team and ensure nothing ever falls through the cracks.
If you're looking for new pet sitting software, give Time to Pet a try. Listeners of our show will save 50% off your first 3 months by visiting timetopet.com/confessional. So that process of you taking on and building a team, I mean, was that in the cards when you first started? Did you envision, oh yeah, I'm going to have people that I'm managing and overseeing, and there's going to be multiple people out in the field? Or did that just kind of happen and you just rolled with it?
I never thought I would have people working for me, underneath me, with me, anything. I was doing it myself. I was learning lots of things through the years. And then there came upon a time where I was never home. And I had my own dog. And there was a lot of guilt set in. I was always staying at other people's homes, and my dog was staying at another home. And I was never seeing my dog. And then I started questioning, am I supposed to be doing this in life? And I started questioning so much, and I was tired. I was so tired. And I was people pleasing too much. And I was getting upset for reasons that I never set boundaries, things like that. And so I had to reassess everything. And I could either leave this business and just give up, or kind of make small changes. So I decided to hire one person, and that was very hard for me to do, very hard. And I was fortunate enough to meet someone, and that was actually a male, which I thought was, looking back, very good at the time, because females and males work differently together. And he saw things that I wouldn't have seen. And he had a different take on things. And we complimented each other, honestly. He was a grown adult and he was excited about the business, things like that. And he was everything to me. He was. And it was he and I for a long time. And then I had to evolve and grow a little bit more because, he was evolving in life. So I grew more people. And then there was, give and take, and there was movement and shifting between new employees. And there was trying to find out what I really needed out of more and more employees. And that took a couple of years. And now I'm at the point where these people have been with me for a while. And will they do this forever? Likely no, but they're with me right now. And we do have assessments and evaluations. And we try to stay all on the same page. And I want to make sure they're okay. If there's any issues, they communicate with me. Anything like that. Communication has always been my biggest thing. And I learned a lot in my last marriage that there was a lack of communication. So I'm always trying to get communication in my life with everybody around me. I'm not saying I'm perfect at it, but I strive to be better at it. So as long as there's communication in all parties, then life can be pretty good and things can always be worked out. Whether it's the outcome I wish or not, but things can work out.
Well, I think too often we get caught up, or at least our employees or team can get caught up in whether I'm communicating the right thing instead of am I communicating? And too often we have that block of, well, I don't know how to say this, or I don't know what to say in the situation, so I'm just not going to say anything, or I'm just going to avoid this. And it's like, no, if you would have just come to me, we could have talked about this. And that has been something that we've had to impress very much. Like we felt like we've had to go way more outward than we expected to convince people, like, it's okay to come and talk to us if you have a problem. Yes, I'm in your employer. Yes, I have standards. Yes, we have policies and procedures. But if you need something, if you're struggling with something, if you come and talk to me first. And it's surprising to me how so few people are. They don't think that that's how they've encountered things that's not how it's operated in the past. Right? They have employers who are like, "Don't talk to me. Don't bring up bad news. If you speak up and say bad things, you get punished." So people are trained to not communicate and not talk and not speak up when there are issues, and it can snowball. And so we're trying to have feel like we're breaking all of these habits from people of like, no, I want to know if something's broken so we can fix it together. Like, let's do this.
Yes, absolutely. And people need to be on like the same playing field also with those kind of expectations, like I just went through a bunch of all reviews again and went over a new set of expectations because I thought some of us may not be on the same playing field. They may assume things. I might be assuming things. I thought I wrote it out in their contracts. But let's revisit all this again. And one of my employees was like, I said, is there anything bothering you? Is there any like client that disturbs you? He's like, I really don't want to go to that one house again. I said, okay.
Yeah.
I said, may I ask why? He told me why. And I said, done. I don't want to make you not want to go to a house. You can do all the other. I said, is there anybody else? He said, no. I said, great. Thank you for letting me know.
Yeah.
I wish I'd known before. I wouldn't have put you on that job. So it's just basic things. Like, what? Poor guy was like dreading working at this place. I had no idea.
We had that come up where we had a client who we took on. We were excited to meet him, blah, blah, blah. He was a smoker. And okay. I grew up with family who smoked and all this stuff. So I didn't think anything of it. And we're going in there, doing stuff. And I sat down for review and I asked that same question. Any client that you're not happy with? And one person said, well, we do have that guy who smokes, and I hate that. I try and spend as much time outside as possible. And I was like, oh, okay. And so we went to the rest of the team, and we were like, hey, does anyone else have problems with smoking? And boom, all these hands came up, and it was like, oh, wow, I've been making like 8 people really unhappy from...
Right? You just don't know.
Now I know, right? Like, hey guys, that's the kind of thing you need to come and talk to us about because we're good. I'm not mind reader good, and if you don't tell me, like, I don't want you to be unhappy. And telling people that back to that happiness aspect of going, I genuinely believe this is the best job in the world, and if you're unhappy, we need to talk about that so we can make some changes. And that kind of feedback, it just makes everybody better.
Yes. And I think the employee was like, oh, that was an option, not going back. I could tell you that.
Yeah.
And I think in turn, he kind of like felt better about the job itself, like this job. And I'm like, yeah, just, you guys tell me stuff. Like, I don't know. I don't know what bothers people. I don't know if you're allergic to something. You never told me something. Tell me. It's so funny, like things that we wouldn't think of because everybody thinks differently.
Right. Yeah. Well, and the aspect of what you mentioned there of the you set the bar high, but it's not unachievable. And I yes. So this aspect of what you're doing of you have these ongoing conversations and you have these aspects like that really is a nurturing, it's managing, it's oversight. It's also showing a direct interest and involvement with each individual that's part of your team. And that aspect really helps cultivate that, we are in this together. And I might not be at this level now, but So I mean, what's that conversation like, Sam? Have you ever had to say, hey, you're not meeting these expectations, but here's a plan, and so let's work through that? What's that process like for you?
I have learned that you don't know what another person is going through unless you ask. And there's usually a reason behind certain behavior. So it's up to, let's say, me to ask certain questions. And they can be uncomfortable questions. But in some situations with employees, something's up, whether, a worker is late, consistently starting to be late for something, or not sending the report that that person used to do. So you never know what's going on. It's my immediate thought is they don't want to work for me anymore. That's not necessarily true. Maybe there's home life issues. Maybe there's family life issues. Maybe there's mental health issues. You just don't know. You just have to I approach it in a very casual way. The first time, like, is everything okay? Usually I get an answer, yeah, all is good. But I'm not, that's not sufficient enough for me. So I kind of prod carefully a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I prefer an in-person or a Zoom call or a FaceTime call at this point, because usually you have to see people's body language when you're talking about things like this. 9 out of 10 times, it's usually something in their own personal life is a distraction, and it's taken over all aspects of life. They don't know how to just set something apart. And that's not my responsibility to do so. Once I know what's going on, I can understand. I can breathe a little bit more and be like, I understand. Do you need time? Do you not want to work for a little bit? Are you able to perform how you have been? Because I am concerned about the clients. So once there's a little bit of that communication going on, it seems they're right back up to where they were before this little, slope. That's 9 out of 10 times. There has been an instance where, things didn't work out, but you got to have those honest conversations. You do. And I like them, but I don't like them.
Well, so how do you work through those conversations? Because likewise, like I've had those moments where I'm going, I do not want to have to tell this person this. I don't like, and it can eat away at me, but I know, like, okay, I've got to do this. But man, how do you work through that then?
Well, this time around, I set kind of how would I put it? Repercussions into place. So there's new, like, if X happens. So if ABC happened, XYZ might happen. I didn't say they would, but they might. Any one of those could happen. So that gives me liberty and range of kind of a discipline, rather than, okay, if you do this, that's going to happen. If you do that, that's going to happen. So there's a little bit of leeway for me that I don't have to be the mean boss, but yet there's a chance that the reckoning's going to come, because there has to be repercussions in life. Like, I get the business for you. I pay you. I do all the background stuff that you don't see. So this is a privilege to work for this company. So we have to set some boundaries here. I have only had to do the one repercussion once, and they snapped out of it. So I let them teeter a little bit, but I have had to fire people before. I really have. And I don't like doing that, but it's hard. I just, yeah. But if you really communicate, you usually don't have to get to those things. Usually people are like, oh, she's willing to take the time. Like, she does care about me. Like, I'm just not a number. Like, she understands there's an off day, an off week. But she's also telling me if I don't get my act together, that might happen. So I don't know. Usually I don't have to have the really trying conversations. I'm very fortunate. I have to have just the beginning ones, if that makes sense.
Yeah, just starting those initial. And I think it's enough to just say, hey, I'm noticing. I think that's a big part of it. Of like, I'm seeing some things. And we've had to go to some employees and say, look, this is not a big thing right now. But what we're worried about is this could develop into something. So I just want to sit down with you, talk about this to let you know, hey, I'm seeing some things about the reports. There's been some weird stuff going on. It's not a huge thing now, but this isn't a good trajectory that we're on. So let's talk about what's going on and what we'd like to see and kind of see where we can head with this and readdress this. And we sometimes will say, hey, let's look at this again, and I'm just going to go ahead and schedule another sit down in 30 days. And that way this is out there. Now, if something goes really haywire, you're going to get a meeting from us a lot sooner. but at least it's like, okay, that at least lets them know. And like what you're doing, so like, I have concerns and we just need to be on the same page about this. And whether it's a big thing or a little thing, a lot of times we don't know about what's going on. And this lesson was taught to me when I was an undergrad, and I was taking an intro to psychology class, and I knocked out that first exam, and I aced it, and it was so awesome. I was like, oh, this is the easiest class ever. Then my life got busy throughout the rest of that semester, and I almost failed the second exam. And the teacher pulled me aside after the exam, after she was passing them back, and she said, Colin, is everything okay? Because I noticed that this exam didn't match what I thought you would get. And I remember at the time, like, being shocked and horrified that somebody had pointed out to me. But looking back, I'm like, what a kind thing that instructor did, because I was able to say, actually, I'm overwhelmed with all of my schoolwork and I'm concerned about XYZ and I don't know what this is going to happen and I haven't been able to focus. And she said, okay, that makes a lot of sense. I understand. Come to me for help next time. And it was like, wow. Oh, I was like, okay, I feel seen by this and somebody who cares about my well-being.
Absolutely. I've noted that exactly that feeling that you're talking about. Someone's taken time out for me in the past, and like, you're not just a number. You're not just a, person. You are an important person, and I think that's we need to do that in today's world. People are just lost sheep in this world. So you want to feel valued, and you want to hear the positive things that you're doing too. I try to lead with the positive, because not always are there that many negatives. It's maybe just one thing. The care and just, hey, you're doing a really good job. So what's up with this? I'm just noticing this, XYZ. And it's usually, honestly, something I would have never thought of that their reasoning is. And you're like, oh, well, my brain didn't come up with that. Thank you that you told me this, because, wow, I might not be okay either,
Yeah.
And life on life's terms. And we all have stuff. And I know they can sense when I'm going through things, even though I don't want to show it, but sometimes, I can come across a little, and I'm like, I have to later go back, not necessarily apologize, be like, but hey guys, I was a little abrupt before because I was doing something. I'm back now. What I meant to say was blah, blah, blah. They don't need to know all the ins and outs about me, but they might need to know I wasn't meaning to say a certain word or say a certain manner or text you in a certain attitude, things like that. Because life is going on in my world too. So at times I have to learn the word pause. take a moment, whether it's an employee or a client. Don't respond yet. I like with the client one is the 24-hour rule.
Yeah.
Let's sleep on it and wake up the next day. With employees, I get back to them sooner, but I take a pause, take a lap around the block or something, because our first reaction isn't always the greatest, and we're all going through something.
As pet sitters and dog walkers, we know that some pets struggle with anxiety, whether it's thunderstorms, fireworks, or just being home alone. But did you know that calming music can actually help? That's why so many pet pros turn to the Peaceful Pet Music, Calm Music for Pets YouTube channel. This channel is packed with soothing melodies, nature sounds designed to create peaceful environments for pets. Sitters and walkers use it during visits to help calm anxious pets, and it's perfect for your own furry companions too. Want to help your clients? Share the channel with them, or better yet, just start it playing on their TV before you leave. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a moment of relaxing music. Get every pet, including yours, a little more peace in their day. Search for the Peaceful Pet Music, Calm Music for Pets on YouTube to get started today. Well, so you're talking about, we've talked a lot about how you're there to support your team and encourage them. Where do you go for that? You know, you're the business owner, you're the business leader here. I know it can be awfully lonely at the top to feel like, who do I go for this stuff and support in my community?
I have fellow pet sitters that I talk to. If they're have ever gone through certain things, I get advice from them. We have a great group around here. And then I go to fellow business women, actually, women itself, because we handle things differently than men. We tend to be a little too emotional at times. And so I know a lot of women-owned business, you know, they own their own business, whether it's, you know, in pottery to they own a bookstore, things like that. So I ask their advice. Some of them can help me at times, some of them can't. And honestly, believe it or not, I find a lot of information on Pet Sitters International, their chat, to believe it or not. We're all going through different things, and I can always do a search for something. Someone in this world, since it is international, has likely gone through something that I'm going through. And maybe find some chats there, or if I can't find, ask a question. If I have the time frame to have those response times come in the next 24 hours, because we need to use each other. You know, if I'm really griping about something, I might gripe to my mother or a family member or a friend. But if it's a business situation, I usually go to another person in the industry so I can get, rather than, well, you don't understand the industry. Well, that's, you know what I mean? That way I'm initially going into someone who kind of knows what I'm going through, possibly. That's kind of how I get my answers and my serenity. I'm a Christian woman, but yeah, I just kind of seek help from other people that are like-minded.
And I love the multifaceted groups that you have. And I think that diversity is so important. I have this group for this, I have this group for this, I have this group for this. I've got my mom, over here, right? Like, what a wonderful resource and person to be cheering you on and go gripe to. I know it's really nice.
Yeah.
But it just shows like how, because you said there's always something going on in somebody's life, including our own. And it's complex, right? It could be a business thing, a personal thing, an interrelational thing. It could be all three things going on. And we have to finding good outlets and resources and people and communities to get connected with. It gives us those resources and tools that can help support us and allows us to continue to thrive and to continue to show up, to have all of these different, supporting structures around us. The more rich that is, the better off that we're going to be.
Absolutely. Just want to be better, better attitude, handle things better, being more capable. but I'm not afraid to ask for help. Even though I love being, a single independent woman, I'm not fearful of asking for help.
Well, that's a lot of self-reliance on that too. I mean, you mentioned like you started your own business, you're doing this on yourself. There's a lot of self-pride and self-worth that goes into this. Of like, how do you view that and still know that you can reach out for help? Because those are, some people would view those as polar opposites. Of you can't be this self-reliant, independent person, and you can't also ask for help. So how do you, walk that?
I think you have to just kind of swallow your pride in a sense and know your limitations. And if you're not furthering your knowledge and growth and your capabilities in life, then you're kind of standing still. So how do you do that? How do you learn and grow and move on and take another step forward? You might need to ask for help. We have certain limitations and certain preconceptions in our mind about certain things, like in how we should approach things. Well, there's always a different perspective out there. And I've learned to kind of seek another perspective because my way is not always the greatest way to do things. And when I keep doing something over and over and I'm getting the same result, but it's not the result I want, that's not really great. So I got to shift things. And that's usually, I can't do that by myself. That's pretty hard for me to do. My mind wants to just be stubborn and just do it my way and it'll work at some point. But it's not working. So I'm trying to stop that little bit of insanity going on and taking a pause and looking into other ways people think. And try not to judge them for it, because when you do look outside the box and it's so different than yours, you're like, well, that would be silly to do that because you're thinking your way is the only way. And then you kind of read on more why they made that, why they are doing that and operating that way and why they made those decisions. And you're like, I don't necessarily have to choose to do that, but I see it a different way, why that person decided to do it. So it slowly opens your mind to possibilities. And there's options in life, and there's different avenues you can do. And wow, choices. So that's kind of how I evolve through things. When I start to see myself doing something again and again, and it's not working, I got to seek outside help because, my workers aren't listening to me, or, my client's not paying on time for a certain reason. There's something I need to change for it to work better. So I look for the answer. I might not get the answer for a while, but at least I'm looking.
Yeah. Well, in that process of, that you described that process of when I hear something new, right, you have to do something with that. Okay, you just learn something. Let me ask some of these questions, like what motivated them to do that? What would that look like in my business? How would all those questions that you just outlined there, like I'm able to immediately empathize with somebody else because I'm putting myself in their shoes, and I'm broadening my scope a little bit more. And then I'm also going, I'm applying it directly to what I'm doing. And going, well, this wouldn't work, but also I could adapt this, and I could. And that process that really helps expand everything that we were doing before. And like you said, going, man, I didn't see a way through this, but now that I've thought through this, this is obvious. I can't believe I didn't think of this before. But we don't know. And seeking that out, whether it's through the communities or the books or reading or whatever that is, it all that good. And I think the part that I struggle with sometimes is I can too easily tune things out because I'll go, oh, I don't need that right now. Or, nope, I don't have that problem, so I don't need to listen to this. boy howdy, how often is it like 1 month later, like I could have used that now because I'm in that position.
Absolutely. That's why there's a search bar on things.
Where was that post?
Yeah, where was it? I'm going to find it now. Yep, let's hope it's still there. Yeah.
Sam, when you started your business, I know you were seeking after a lifestyle, you were seeking after happiness, you were seeking after these things in your life to simplify it and kind of be this certain way. How do you continue to maintain that? Because I know that as people get in business, things often become way more complicated. We kind of like new levels, new devils kind of thing. And all of a sudden I'm running a business, but it's not how I wanted to when I got started. How have you continued to maintain that and continue to stay true to your purpose?
I basically look at my business as my baby. I never had children, but this is my baby, other than my dog. And I'm willing to have an open mind as of today for many things. I'm very happy with the size of my company. I don't see myself as a multi-million-dollar company. I like the personal touch I can give to every single client if I choose to right now. We have about 300 clients. Some use us once a year. Some use us twice a day, things like that. So I like to jump in if I want to in my car, go see that client. And they know who I am, not just the owner of the company. I like to go to every meet and greet. I like to stay at random clients' houses every once in a while. I like to take the dog for a walk, things like that. So I have like still that nice, those moments of I'm doing a dog walk, I am staying in someone's house. I am doing service. Then I'm not just managing because that I can easily be like, you guys do all the work. I'm just going to manage. To be honest, that's not where my happiness is. And I have a dear friend, when I do get a little frustrated with managing in a sense, and I'm blaming my employees for life on itself, and everything is their fault, nothing is mine. And I'm having one of those moments. She's always like, but worst case scenario, you could always just do this by yourself. And isn't that a nice thing?
Yeah.
Would that would you be okay with that? And at first I got caught off. And when she first said it, I was like, what? And I took offense to that. And then I thought about it more and I'm like, actually, that would be just fine. That would be just fine, me doing it. And I don't have to do it how I used to do it. I would be okay. I could pick and choose. I wouldn't have to work for every day. I've grown up since then. I've learned a lot. I don't have to say yes to everything. Fear of economic insecurity, is not there. You do good to another person, it'll come back. So all will be okay if I got rid of all this. I just don't want to get too big where, my world will get blown up if I had to just do this by myself. So that's the only fear I have, is just taking on too much. All of a sudden, the world in they all quit, and then it's just me. So that I'm able to just have that healthy balance, because right now I'm like the backup sitter for everybody. So I could say if there was an alternate dream, I would like to have a manager someday and me be the owner. And I could do all sorts of things without doing total managing. But that may come, that may not come. I don't know what tomorrow will bring.
Well, and I love how you pointed out that the managing is not where your happiness is. And I think often we kind of go, well, I guess excuse me. I think we often go, well, I just have to take this on, and I guess I just have to grunt through this, and I just have to deal with this, and I just have to. And instead of going, but wait a minute, like this is my business. Like if I don't want to do it this way, I don't have to. And I can set things up the way that work good for me and my happiness and my peace. You use that word earlier, my serenity. Like, am I working to preserve those things? Because I think if we were honest with ourselves, 9 times out of 10, we're making decisions that are in complete opposition to those, because we're seeking after growth and metrics and numbers and money and all this other stuff. And we leave ourselves far behind. And that's where we can look up in 10 years and go, man, where's that person who started this business? Like, where are they? And we feel kind of lost, because now all of a sudden we're operating and we're doing stuff we never wanted to get into in the first place. We're just doing it because it's what we quote unquote have to do.
Yes. I'm able to catch myself at times and assess. I think, and I don't have the answer right now, but I do have options. I do have options at the end of the day. I can do what I wish. Things might crumble a little bit, or things might grow so well. I don't know, but I do have options. I can say yes and I can say no.
And that's a really beautiful place to be when we have that, because we know like there's some security there. There's also some optimism for what the future is going to hold. And there's also that belief in self too, of going, a lot of times, Megan and I talk about this a lot, of like, well, if we had to, well, we'd just build it again, right? We'd just start again. It'd just be us again. And man, we were happy then when it was just Megan and I, and we were doing everything together. We're still happy now. So if this all goes away, if something happens and we have to go back to that, oh man, it's just another happy time in our life. And I think keeping that in perspective is what's important.
Absolutely. It's all perspective.
Sam, I really want to thank you for coming on the show today, sharing with us your journey, and reminding us to focus on ourselves. That's okay to seek after happiness and design a business that lets us have that and that we can accomplish that with. And I know that you've got a lot on your plate, so this means a lot for you to take this time out. For those who want to get connected, follow along, reach out and get connected with you, how best can they do that?
The best way is just to go to our website, pawbeachflorida.com, and you can find anything and all about us, contact information, anything you'd like. I'm always available to help a fellow pet sitter.
Okay. Perfect. Well, I will have links in the show notes and on our website so people can get connected with you and start that conversation. Sam, again, this has just been such an immense pleasure, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. Thank you for coming on the show today.
Colin, you're the kindest and the sweetest. Keep doing what you're doing. You're a blessing to this industry. Thank you.
Thank you. I love when Sam said, when we show up, we put on that attitude that this is the only dog in the world that we're going to see today. Every pet should be treated like the only one while we're there. And this mindset really does change everything. It quiets everything else around us and makes sure that we are focused and present and giving 100% to the pet in front of us. What we do is not just about walking dogs. What we do is about showing up with purpose, presence, and pride. When our team embraces that level of care, our clients truly do feel it, and our business will thrive. We want to thank today's sponsors, Time to Pet, and the Peaceful Pet Music, Calm Music for Pets YouTube channel for sponsoring today's episode and making it possible. And we really want to thank you so much for listening, for showing up, and for sharing. We couldn't do this without you. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and we'll be back again soon.